Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's yours truly, TJ Jones, and this is the live post game edition of the State of the Saints podcast. And once again, I want to say thank you for checking this out. I really do appreciate it. This is the very last game of preseason, which I am really excited about. And it is so good to know that preseason is finally over. Now we can focus on the regular season. The New Orleans Saints, they lose tonight by a score of 16-13 to the Miami Dolphins. And we got a real good look at some guys who are going to possibly make the team. And we also got a look at some guys that's probably not going to make the team. I mean, it's not much that we saw in this game. I mean, it was really boring. It was probably one of the most boring preseason games I've seen, probably out of the four that I watched. I watched it from start to finish. I got some notes that I want to talk about. And I want you all to ask some questions as well and let me know what you thought about the game. Uh, I want to say to everybody, thank you for checking out this video. If this is your first time, please subscribe to the channel. I go live after every Saints game. Well, at least I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to go live after every single Saints game this season. Hopefully, I'll be able to break them down. Unless like something happened, maybe I'm supposed to be going to the Jacksonville Jaguars New Orleans Saints game. That's probably the only game I'm probably not gonna break down this season. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay. A couple of notes. Number one. I think the running back battle between Devine Ozigbo and Dwayne Washington is pretty much closed. I think Devine Ozigbo is going to be that third running back in the rotation for the New Orleans Saints. Dwayne Washington, I feel like he lost out. It's unfortunate, but Devine Ozigbo every single week has come on. This young man coming out of the University of Nebraska, I mean, he has done an excellent job catching the ball out of the backfield, making people miss, breaking tackles. He has unbelievable balance. And to me, he is basically Mark Ingram, man. He's the same size, the same weight. It looks like as if I'm watching Mark Ingram in his rookie season. I mean, I think he has a little bit more speed and balance than Mark Ingram. So Devine Ozigbo, in my opinion, I think he won that third running back spot, and he deserves it, man. I seen one catch that he made. It was a screen pass that should have been incomplete. He caught it with his left hand, man, and brought it in for a catch. So I thought that was telling of him. Every single time Devine Ozigbo was in the game, you knew he was in there, and he made every rep that he got counted. So I think that Devine Ozigbo is going to be your third running back. Uh, Another thing that we saw was Emmanuel Butler. It was good to see Emmanuel Butler finally have a decent game. And I'm saying decent because I feel like he left a couple plays on the field. He dropped a couple passes. He did get a touchdown. That was a good pass by Teddy Bridgewater to Emmanuel Butler. But I feel like he left some plays on the field. He has to get over that shyness, man. He got to get over that nervousness. He got to let all that stuff go. Like if you want to succeed in the National Football League, you got to lay it all on the line. I say this every single week. You gotta lay it all on the line. You can't be around here tiptoeing through the tulips. You got to go out there and catch that ball and be fearless out there. And I feel like he has all the makings to be a really good asset to the New Orleans Saints team. And the only person that's stopping him is him. There was a play where it could have been converted. He dropped the pass. I mean, he pointed to himself. He took accountability. That's cool. But I want more than accountability. I want you to be able to catch the passes that the quarterback throws to you on a consistent basis. Because even though this is preseason, I mean, you might drop a pass that could cost the Saints a game in the regular season. So we don't want to see this type of stuff going on. It's good that we saw it in preseason. Hopefully, he can kind of clean that stuff up because he'll end up being on the outside looking in. Because it's one thing for preseason and he dropping passes, but it's another thing for the regular season. Teams want to know that they can count on these type of guys. And I think Emmanuel Butler, even though once again he did a decent job, he has to work on catching those passes and he has to get rid of that nervousness. You gotta let that stuff go, man. You're a National Football League player now. You in the NFL, my friend. There's no time, to be shy anymore. You got to handle up on your business. Defensively, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, I think that he stood out in the first quarter. He was all over the field. He was a tackling machine. Chris Banjo got ran over by the running back from the Miami Dolphins. I mean, the guy dropped the shoulder on you, but Chris Banjo is a special teams player and a good one at that. So we wouldn't, expect for him to be out there just tackling and running all over the place. I mean, he was just in the game basically because of, they didn't want to have any of the starters on the field. Um, Also, I have to say this. I'm so glad that Patrick Robinson is a slot corner instead of an outside corner. I'm glad to see that because if Patrick Robinson was on the outside every single week, the New Orleans Saints would be in trouble. He's a great slot corner. I'm saying great because according to Pro Football Focus, before he got hurt, he was ranked the #1 slot corner in the National Football League. I know that's a shock to a lot of people, but when he played for the Philadelphia Eagles, he was one of the best. And I'm glad that he's going to be playing in the slot and not on the outside. So those are those are my notes, man. I don't really. This game was boring. Like I'm gonna be honest, it was boring. The highlight of the night for me was Jermaine Bushride. I don't know if you all saw that interview, but he did announce his retirement. Jermaine Bushride was the left tackle for the New Orleans Saints. During the time they won the Super Bowl, he was a Pro Bowler. He played with the Saints, the Bears, and the Dolphins. And he is a good guy. He was a good guy. He was a hard worker. He was one of the best left tackles. Of course, he ended up leaving the Saints because, money issues. I mean, the NFL is a business. And I think that, I want to say congratulations to Jermaine Bushride. That was the highlight of the night for me. Taysom Hill did a good job. Teddy Bridgewater did a good job. I think this is probably out of the two, this is probably the best game that they played. It wasn't their fault. A lot of the passes that they threw on the money, these receivers just did not catch them. Semi Cobb dropped 2 passes. Emmanuel Butler dropped one. I think Grayson dropped one. These guys were on. And I want to give respect to Taysom Hill because this was one of those games where Taysom Hill stood in the pocket. He wasn't trying to run all over the place, even though he did run a couple times, but he was looking for an open receiver more than he was trying to run in some of these games that we seen in preseason. So it seems like Taysom Hill is really trying to get some respect at the quarterback position by standing in the pocket and trying to, go through his reads, go through his progression. So that was a positive. Teddy Bridgewater, I think he threw the ball really well. And we also seen Teddy Bridgewater scrambling out of the pocket, which I know a lot of people finally were excited to see that, right? We were excited to see that Teddy Bridgewater was scrambling around in the pocket. I mean, he was scrambling, he was running, he was rolling out. So I know a lot of people are excited about that. But those are my notes, man. So right now, if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have. And because, quite frankly, we are playing a waiting game right now. I mean, of course, they're going to have some cuts over the weekend, and we're going to break that down. But I'm not going to go through every position and tell you going to be cut. So, because I think it's going to be like one of those things where you're going to be shocked at the players that's going to get cut from the New Orleans Saints team. So, without further ado, I'm gonna leave it up to you all. You all have the floor right now. So I'm going to go and I'm gonna see if you all have any questions here. Also, again, if you do not know, we're on the road to 2,000 subscribers. We're trying to get 2,000 subscribers by week 1 of the regular season. And if we do get 2,000 subscribers, one lucky subscriber is going to get a free State of the Saints podcast T-shirt which I actually have on one right now in the color gray. And if you are lucky enough to receive that, the only thing that I ask, if you take a picture with your shirt on, so because I don't want anybody to think, oh, no, he just saying that he just trying to get his subscribers. No, a person really is going to get a shirt. And the only thing I ask is that you take a picture if you're the winner. That's all I ask. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's see if anybody got any questions. All right. So first off, Tyra, what's going on? Thank you for checking out the live video. Jerry, the regular, thank you very much for checking out the video as well. You said you can't believe that we lost. Why didn't we kick a field goal? Because it's preseason, Jerry. Nobody want to see Nobody want to see no overtime in preseason. Nobody. I was glad that they went for it on fourth down. If this was the regular season, yes, kick the field goal or go into overtime. Let's go into sudden death, try to get that dub. But in preseason, absolutely not. I'm so glad that they went for it on that 4th and 5. Hey, you win some, you lose some. No harm, no foul on that. What do you think about Sammy? Um, I'm thinking, Darrell, you're talking about Semi Cobbs, so, if I'm not mistaken. Semi Cobbs is a good wide receiver. Really good. I think he hurt himself tonight by dropping those 2 passes. One that could convert a first down. He dropped that one. And I think that he can play a whole lot better than he played. Semi Cobb is going to end up making the New Orleans Saints team. And he might end up being that. I think he's going to make the team before Austin Carr did. I think that I don't think we seen Austin Carr tonight, and I don't think that Austin Carr is just a sure thing for him to be sitting on the side. Keith Kirkwood, yeah, I think Kirkwood is a shoe in. I think that the Saints like Kirkwood, but I think that Sammy Cobbs has proven that he can be a decent NFL player. So I think he's going to end up making a team and not Austin Carr. Uh, did you see Bridgewater pregame huddle? No, I didn't. No, I didn't see his pregame huddle. I don't know what happened. I'm gonna have to check that out. So didn't see it. Didn't see it at all. Can't believe he was undrafted. Not sure who you're talking about there, Mike. Who wasn't undrafted? Who was undrafted? I assume you're talking about Devon Azigbo. I would assume you're talking about him being undrafted. I can't believe it either, but that's how it is sometimes. I mean, the Saints, they do an outstanding job finding diamonds in the rough. I mean, they do a good job at doing that, right? They found Keith Kirkwood. They found players like Pierre Thomas. I mean, they found people like Michael Lewis, the Bill man back in the day. They find these guys that are undrafted, unproven, and they put them into this offense and sometimes on the defensive side of the ball, and they perform really well. So you have to give props to the front office of the New Orleans Saints for finding these diamonds in the rough, no doubt. Jamarcus Robinson, we need better backup DBs. Yes, I agree. I think that's important, a very important position. You always want to have depth at in your secondary. You want to have depth, no doubt. So they got to go out here and find somebody. And I also think they need more depth at the linebacker position. Let me see. Butler and Lil Jordan. Lil Jordan Humphreys, he's just one of those guys that just shows up. I mean, you wonder where he is. You hear the commentators, where's Lil Jordan? Where's Lil Jordan Humphrey? Where's Lil Jordan Humphrey? All of a sudden, he just shows up and catches about a 25-yard catch. So he has to be a little bit more consistent. He has to be able to get a little better with the route running. I think that he kind of struggles with that. I was paying a real close attention to him. I feel like he needs to work on his route running. But nevertheless, I mean, he seems to have good hands. He's 6'4". He has a big body. But I just think that he needs to work on his route running. And I think he's going to end up being on the practice squad. I don't think the Saints are going to let him go. So I think he's going to be one of those practice squad players. The 2 drop passes were painful. Yeah, that's true, man. Because if you look at the stat sheet, you'll see Teddy Bridgewater and you'll see Taysom Hill, And both of these guys had really good passer ratings tonight. I think Teddy may have had like over 100, and I think Taysom had like a 90. And if you think about it, wasn't even their fault. It wasn't even their fault that the passes were incomplete. I mean, they put the ball right where it needed to be. These guys just did not catch it. So I think they both played really well tonight. They both put on their best performance in this week 4 game against the Dolphins. Let me see. Uh, what would you do if we got Jalen Ramsey? I'll be extremely excited. Jalen Ramsey is an outstanding cornerback, one of the best cornerbacks in the National Football League. I watched Jalen Ramsey since he was at Florida State. I always knew that he was going to be really good. Not a real big fan of all that talking and stuff like that. That's not my MO. I'm more of a guy going out there, and performing. You ain't got to tell everybody how good you are. You ain't got to tell everybody that you a beast. You ain't got to tell everybody you the truth. Go out there and perform. I mean, my favorite player of all time is Marvin Harrison. My favorite wide receiver of all time is Marvin Harrison because Marvin Harrison was a great route runner. He caught everything Peyton Manning threw to him. He caught a whole bunch of touchdowns. He had a lot of yards. And when he scored those touchdowns, he went to the end of the bench and sat down till it was time for him to go out there again and do the same thing. So I'm not a real big fan of the guys that are the divas that have the me complex, like an Antonio or Odell. I'm not a fan of those type of guys. I like those silent killers, like the Marcus Colstons of the world, and for even like I mean people that are quiet, silent assassins. I'm not too big on people that talk too much. Ramsey, he is an incredible talent. If he played for the Saints, I would be really excited. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars better long-term deal when his contract is is up. I think this is the last year of his rookie deal, so they're gonna have to pay this man. They're gonna have to pay him. But I don't think Jacksonville will ever let this man go. I don't see that. Probably let if he slowed down or he missed a step or something. Maybe they'll do that. But there's no way the Jaguars are letting that guy go. What about a shootout in preseason? Not a fan of it. Don't want to see no shootout in preseason. I just want to see guys be productive. I just want to get a good look at some of the players on the field. And if you win, cool, that's great. Who that? If you lose, fine, cool, who that? Like that. I mean, preseason is just what it is, man. It's just preseason to me is for the guys that are on the bubble. I mean, there's no need for Drew Brees or Alvin Kamara in preseason. I mean, yeah, they can go out there and get some reps, but think about it, man. Would you want to lose Drew Brees or a Alvin Kamara to a preseason game, man? I don't think so. How confident are you in Apple going into week 1? And that comes from Kevin. Kevin, I'm confident in Eli Apple because Eli Apple is okay. I'm not gonna say he's good. I'm gonna say he's okay, and he's better than what we have. I mean, he's better than PJ Williams. He better than Ken Crawley. He better than Patrick Robinson. He is the second best corner on the team. And I think that Eli Apple is good. Look, man, I don't think people understand, man. The cornerback position is a tough position to play. It is so tough to be a corner in the National Football League, man. It's a week to week name. Just think about this. How many times have we looked at a Marshawn Lattimore game? He's been out there shutting dudes down, clamping down on these clowns. And then the next week he might give up some yards to Julio Jones, a big play to Mike Evans. I mean, it is a tough job to be a cornerback, man. I mean, it's a fine line between hero and GOAT. You'll be the hero one week, you'll be the GOAT the next. Eli Apple, to me, I mean, he up and down, but I mean, he's not an elite cornerback. Everybody can't be Patrick Peterson, man. Everybody can't be Richard Sherman. Everybody can't be Deion Sanders. Everybody can't be those guys. They're gotta have some guys out there that probably going to get beat. And they're probably going to make some plays also. But I'm confident, man. I mean, he's not going to be guarding DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, Marshawn Lattimore is going into week one. I can trust him going up against his former college teammate in Braxton Miller. I think he can do an okay job with that. What do y'all think about that? Let's see. Sub TJ, do you play fantasy football? I do play fantasy football, but I'm not going to do it this year. I'm not doing it this year because I want to be fully focused on doing this podcast to really give you all the best Saints news I can. So I'm sacrificing my fantasy league to focus on the Saints this season, man, to give you all the best content that I possibly can and give you all the news that I can. So I'm dialed in right now. I'm all in on the Saints, and I'm all in to give you all the best Saints news possible. So yeah, but I do fantasy football. This is my first time in 5 years not doing it. Let's see. Is Jared Cook hurt? I don't know if he's hurt, man. And even if he is, in preseason, they don't have to talk about injuries. There's no injury report in preseason. And you're not going to hear that from Sean Payton. Sean Payton is not going to give you nothing. So if he is hurt, we're not going to hear about it until maybe Wednesday or Thursday going into week one of the regular season. So I haven't seen it. I haven't seen him, and I don't know if he was on the sideline tonight. Tonight, did you all see him? Was he on the sidelines? But I don't know if he's hurt. I don't. But I don't think they need him. I don't think they need him out there right now. So if he is hurt, let him let him sit on the side. Have no problem with that. Let's see. I think Divine Zigbo has won a roster spot. I do too, the young blood. Yeah, I do. I think he won because Dwayne Washington is a good running back. He is good. Like if he end up getting cut by the Saints, somebody gonna pick him up. Okay, maybe a Green Bay or Buffalo or something like that. Like somebody's gonna pick that guy up. He struggled in a passing game, and we all know that the Saints really rely on their running backs to be able to catch out of the backfield and also to pick up blocks. He had to drop at least 5, maybe 6 passes in preseason, and that is a big no-no. Can he run in between the tackles? Absolutely, but you got to be able to catch out of the backfield because you become one-dimensional, and teams are going to be able to understand if you're in a game, to probably do a halfback dive going straight up the middle, or you're probably going to go on a halfback toss. It's going to be so predictable. They know you're going to run. They're going to run a football. If you're in the game because they know you can't catch out of it. So I think that kind of hurt Dwayne Washington, and that kind of made Devon Zigbo just go past him because week 2 of the season, I mean, they were like neck and neck. It's like if one person made a play and they elevated, the next person make a play, they right back. But in between these last 2 games, Devon Zigbo he just became leaps and bounds better than him. So I think that Devon is going to end up being a New Orleans Saint going into the season. James says, does Lil Jordan make the roster of practice squad? Practice squad, James. Even though he has good upside, he still needs to work on his route running. I don't think that he is too explosive off the ball just yet. I think that a year on the practice squad, then you reevaluate him in next season. But I think the Saints are going to probably put him on the practice squad, and maybe we'll see where we go in year 2 of his career. Ricky says, that's what I was thinking. Why not kick the field goal? No, man, come on. Like, nobody wants to see overtime in preseason, man. Nobody wants to see that. And then, let's just say, for example, they do go into overtime and somebody that you really need going into the season get hurt. Wouldn't that make you mad? You'd be like, why did they go into overtime? I mean, the games don't count. I mean, I know we'd be like preseason count. Like, yeah, yes and no. Do you want to go out there and execute well? Yes. But do you want to go out there and just risk it all for a preseason game that's not going to matter? No. So I'm glad that they went for it on that 4th and 5. But I mean, you have a right to your own opinion. I know I know we want to see the Saints win every single game, even if it's a scrimmage or a preseason. But I'm not mad at that. I'm not. Ken Crawley will be cut Saturday, smoked like brisket, burnt like a biscuit. Absolutely, man. Look, I'm I know I shouldn't say this, but man, at time. Like Ken Crawley has really been a liability for years. Okay. He had one good year, and that's when he started on the other side of Marshawn Lattimore. And then basically he's been like the stock market in 1929, straight crash and burn. So I think it's time for him to go. I think he needs to change the scenery. Man, you cannot just be complacent and be like, I am in the National Football League. I got it made. You know, I can get the ladies. I got the nice car. You know, I play for this organization. You could never, ever get complacent in the National Football League because there's always somebody that is right there trying to take your spot. And I feel like Ken Crawley just got complacent. He got complacent and he never got better past his rookie season. And it's sad. But I mean, he brought it on himself. He brought it on himself by not elevating his game, by not going out there and working hard, by not going out there and putting his best foot forward to get better. I mean, I'm disappointed in Ken Crawley because I mean he had an opportunity to remain a starter. And he played so awful that the Saints had to trade for Eli Apple in the middle of the season. So, man, maybe he'll go to another team and he'll do a little better. And hopefully. Jeremiah Griffin says, what player do you think we should trade for? I don't think we need to trade for anybody. I'm good with the dog we got. I mean, if you want to go out there and if you've seen a player in preseason that you think can come into the organization and be beneficial to the team, cool. But I don't think you need to trade for anybody. I don't. I don't want. I know a lot of people talking about Jadeveon Clowney, cool, you know, but I don't think the Saints need to go out here and trade for anybody. I'm good with what they have. I think that the Saints have a good enough team to have one of the best records in the National Football League, if not the best record. So I don't think they need to trade for anybody. But I'm not really big on trades. I'm not really big on them unless it's like I wasn't upset with the whole Eli Apple situation, trading for him in the middle of the season. I wasn't upset about that at all because they needed him. I don't just think there's just just a need for a position player right now. I don't think the Saints need to do that. Ken Crawley is gonna get cut. Yes, he is. Let me see. I think Ken Crawley played well tonight. The touchdown was a miscommunication. He played good tonight, but I mean, just one game. I mean, for this 1 week 4 preseason game, he got 3 other games where he didn't do nothing at all. Okay, I feel like this. He might end up. He's a good special teams player. I mean, he's a good tackler on special teams. So maybe Sean Payton probably will put him on special teams, and maybe he will do something there. But man, he don't need to be on nobody's field, as a rotation player. If you want to see a 50-yard bomb for a touchdown by the opposing team, then put Ken Crawley on the field. I'm just not sold on him at all. I know I beat up on him quite a bit, but I'm just upset, man. I hate when players have opportunities to go out there and perform and do, and really go out there and do something special, man. Like it is a pleasure and an honor to be a starter in the National Football League for you to have an opportunity. And I mean, you were undrafted, dude, and you get an opportunity to play as a starting cornerback, and you squander that, man, by not getting better, by not you're elevating your game. I have no respect for it. I'm sorry. Like I said, I know I beat up on Kid Crawley a lot, but I don't have any respect for anybody that don't elevate their game. You look at people like Michael Thomas. Every single year he gets better and better. Sheldon Rankin, Every single year, he gets better and better. That's what I expect out of players. But when you go out there and just be like, man, I'm just cool, man. I'm out here. After I break up the ball, I can do me a cool handshake. You cool with all that, but you don't want to elevate your game. No respect for that. I'm sorry. Let me see. Wyatt says, I don't get why some are upset that we didn't kick the field goal. It's preseason. Exactly. It would have meant nothing, the game being a tie. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have. And nobody wants to see it. Like you hear people say it all the time. Nobody wants to see overtime in preseason. They do not. Like they barely want to be there. The commentators barely want to be there. So they ain't trying to check for no preseason, man. They not. Young Nola says Lil Jordan gonna make the team. I told people stop sleeping on him. I think he gonna make the team, but just he gonna be on a practice squad. Do you believe they gave Lil Jordan Humphrey a good enough chance? Do you believe he can make the team? I think they gave him a good enough chance. I think they gave him opportunities for him to go out and make some plays, and he did. The Saints are just deep at the wide receiver position. They just deep. And I don't think the Saints want to get him out the door. I think they want to sign him to the practice squad. And I think, if something happens, somebody get hurt, he'll get activated. Same thing with Keith Kirkwood. Kirkwood was on the practice squad. Then Ted Ginn Jr. got hurt, and Kirkwood came in. So I think it is a possibility that you can see Lil Jordan Humphrey in the middle of the season. Let me see. I hope we draft another quarterback. God, Teddy's horrible. I'm not touching that. I'm not going to fall for this, young Nola. I'm not going to fall for this. I'm just going to say you're entitled to your opinion. Okay, look. Drew Brees is the starting quarterback of the Saints, and that's what's important to me. Okay, as long as Drew Brees upright, I don't feel like we need to even be talking about backup quarterbacks. Who that for life? Guess that answers that. Let me see. Who you talking about? Trade? You must be talking, young Nola. You talking about Trey Bridgewater? Let me know. Why it says which player do you think will be cut and who will make the roster? All right. Let's see. Let's start from the beginning. Okay. The three quarterbacks that are on the team right now, Breeze, Bridgewater, and Taysom Hill, that's going to be your three quarterbacks. Running back position, you got Alvin Kamara, Latavius Murray, and Devon Zigbo. Okay. The wide receivers, I think the Saints are probably going to bring six. Of course, you got your usual suspects. You got Michael Thomas. You got Ted Ginn Jr. You got Traquan Smith. You got Keith Kirkwood. You got Simi Cobb, and you got Emmanuel Butler. Okay, those are the guys that I feel like are going to be on the team. Tight end Jared Cook, Josh Hill, Dan Arnold. Okay, Garrett Griffin, he's out for the season. I think he may have tore his ACL in the third preseason game against the Jets. Left tackle, of course, Ryan Armstead. Uh, then you have Andrews Pete at center, rookie Eric McCoy, Larry Warford, and Ryan Ramchick. Then you have at the defensive end position, at the Cam Jordan, to me Trey Hendrickson, and then you have Marcus Davenport. I feel like Trey Hendrickson should start over Davenport. Defensive tackle Sheldon Rankins, and he's not healthy, but Malcolm Brown will be the starter. Rotated with Mario Edwards and David Anyamata. Okay, linebackers, Demario Davis. I think Caden Ellis should be in a rotation. Alex Anzalone, Craig Robinson. And then you have like people like Compton. I think Compton, he did a good job. At the cornerback positions, I mean, Marshawn Lattimore, Eli Apple, Patrick Robinson. Man, I'm not a fan of PJ Williams. If you can go out here and find somebody in preseason, that did that did really decent at the slot corner position. Sign him over PJ Williams. Uh, at safety, you got Gardner Johnson, you got Von Bell, you got Marcus Williams. Of course, kicker Will Lutz and punter Thomas Morstead. So those are the guys I feel like are going to be making the roster. And of course, you got some special team players. Devontae Harris, Chris Banjo, Justin Hardy Sr., guys like that. Okay, so not gonna name off some special team players, but those are the guys that kind of just stand out on special teams. They're like mainstays, and I would assume Marcus Sherrills was still, even though we didn't see him in preseason. I think the Saints kind of signed him because of his special teams ability. So I think Marcus Sherrill, even though he didn't do anything, I think he still might end up making the team because he's a good special teams player. Uh, Michael Murray says Grayson Jr. makes the team. No, he does not. Too inconsistent. Has all the speed in the world. Is a burner, but too inconsistent. Too inconsistent, man. So I don't think he's going to make the team. I thought I saw Austin Carr not dressed for the game on the sideline tonight. What's up with that? Is he hurt? I don't know if he's hurt, and I don't know if he's a sure thing. I don't know. I don't think Austin Carr has done enough this preseason to be on the sideline in street clothes. I don't. I just don't. I don't think that he has done enough. I think he's one of the guys that should have been in the game. Now, it's rather Sean Payton just trusts him and be like, okay, we're going to run with him. And maybe he looking at one more wide receiver, and Lil Jordan and Simi and Emmanuel Butler. Maybe they was fighting for their last spot. We don't know. So maybe that's why Austin Carr was on the side. But to me, I think he should have been out there playing because I don't think he played any better than any of those guys. Uh, Ken Crawley is internal garbage. Oh man, I mean he's just not good. Okay, I'm just gonna say it like that. He's just not good. What do you think about the other receivers besides Michael Thomas? Good players. Uh, because Drew Brees is their quarterback, he'll elevate their game. So if they were on a team like the Buffalo Bills or the San Francisco 49ers, probably wouldn't be that good. But because Drew Brees is their quarterback, Drew Brees has the ability to make wide receivers much better than they actually are. I mean, we seen this time after time. Guys leave the Saints after they play with Drew Brees. Their career is not the same. We look at Lance Moore, who left. You think he went to the Steelers? You barely heard from him. I think he also went to the Detroit Lions. You didn't hear from him. Robert Meacham went out there to the Chargers for a couple of years. Did not hear from him at all. So Drew Brees has a way of making guys look much better. They actually are. Um, Tyler Smith says, "Got to elevate your game." Yeah, I agree. You got to elevate your game, man. Like, no matter how good you're, like, there's a person on the Saints team right now that is uh he's falling into that trap, in my opinion. And that player is Marcus Williams. Marcus Williams had an incredible rookie season. He had 5 interceptions. When he came out of the University of Utah, he's still the all-time leader in interceptions in one season for the University of Utah. He had 9 interceptions, 11 in his college career. And he was on a cusp, but it seemed like since that Minnesota Miracle happened, he has not been the same. It seems like he's been shell shocked. He's been not playing loose. He's one of those guys that falling into that trap. And if he don't watch out, people like C.J. Gardner-Johnson or Saquon Hampton are going to be one of the guys that take their spot. And I forgot to mention Saquon Hampton. I think he's going to end up making special teams. But if Marcus Williams doesn't watch out, he gonna end up getting this spot taken as well. He's one of those guys that's falling into that trap. You got to elevate your game, and you got to be fearless. Uh, no, Mike, I think I already answered the question about Grayson. I don't think he's gonna make the team. Um, John said, "TJ, you look high as an MNF in that thumbnail." Man, okay, look. when you're going live, they tell you to take a picture or whatever. So that's probably why. Probably why because they just told me to take a picture. I'm gonna change it anyway, so it really don't matter. I'm new to this whole live thing, I really am. So I'm still kind of working out the kinks. But no, I don't do any type of drugs or anything like that, man. Said bench Crawley. Drew, that come from Drew Brees. Now, if Drew Brees say he benched him, I guess we gotta bench him, right? King Arthur. Didn't get to see the game. Any standout performances? The only person that stood out in this game to me was Devon Zigbo. That's the only person that stood out to me in this game. Emmanuel Butler, he did his thing, but Devon Zigbo and the announcement of Jermichael Bushrod retiring from the National Football League, the only two things that stood out. Drew Brees said we need to trade Drew Brees for Tom Savage. I'm not going to comment on that. Any are rookies the only players who can make the practice squad? No, no, that's not it. They can. You can be a veteran player and you can be on the practice squad. I mean, most of the time it do be rookies though. Most of the time they are rookies. That just means you just be on scout team or whatever. Like they put you on the scout team. Like for example, like if you're a quarterback and you're going up against Tom Brady or something like that, then that practice squad quarterback would run the offense kind of similar to a Brady offense. I mean, of course, we know that practice squad player wouldn't be Tom Brady because if he was, he wouldn't be on the practice squad. But they kind of mimic the mannerisms and the play calling of a Tom Brady and for the defense, so that's kind of the role of a practice squad player. A wide receiver, like they would, take on a role of a star wide receiver, and the cornerback will go up against them. So that's kind of the role of a practice squad player. Um, man, trade Breed for Nathan Peterman. Okay, man. Look. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest. I like Nathan Peterman. Okay, I like Nathan Peterman. I mean, look, I know people like, huh, what? Now I know this man had 5 interceptions in the first half against the Chargers, but the man played for the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills are straight hot garbage. Okay, their coach is Sean McDermott, who is a defensive-minded coach. They do not put any type of offensive weapons around Josh Allen, the starting quarterback. So Nathan Peterman, to me, I feel like he suffered because they're a team that's more driven by defense, and they pay more attention to their defense than their offense. I feel like by him being in Oakland, I feel like John Gruden will make him a little bit better. I ain't gonna say he's gonna be out here being all world, but I have confidence in that guy. I feel like he two things wrong with him: lack of confidence and just lack of guidance. And I feel like if he gets his confidence up, and I feel like he get in an offense that that's quarterback friendly. I think he can have an okay career. I don't think he's gonna be like a starter or nothing like that, but he can be like one of those Ryan Fitzpatrick type players. Come in the game, maybe throw a couple touchdowns or something. But I mean, he played pretty good in preseason. So I'm not really. I actually like Nathan Peterman, man. I'm not gonna talk about the man too bad. Cyril Grayson made plays tonight. So did Lil Jordan. Yeah, they both did, but a little too little, too late for Grayson, man. I don't think Sean Payton was too high on him anyway because I mean he's not one of those guys that are 6'3", 6'4". He's a short guy. He has a lot of speed. And Sean Payton seems like he likes those kind of big built wide receivers where he can put in the slot and be matchup nightmares for the slot corners. So I don't think he fits into that Sean Payton mold. Um, Explain yourself, please, with the inconsistent comment. I don't know what that is. Grayson made plays. Cool. Let's see. I'm trying to see questions. I know most people like kind of having conversations. Semi Cobb did drop a pass tonight. I feel like he probably played one of his worst games tonight. Uh, Snead doing his thing, Steele's doing his thing, but not to a degree, not to a degree of how they played in New Orleans. Like Willie Snead was one of the best third down receivers I've seen since Anquan Bolden. Like if it was 3rd and 5, Willie Snead was getting you that first down. Kenneth Stills was stretching the, man, he was just stretching the field. Yeah, I feel like even though those guys are okay players, they're not playing at the level they were playing when Drew Brees was their quarterback. And Willie Snead, he's been like his first season with the Ravens, he was hurt. So I mean, he really has not really done much. And Kenny Stills, I have a lot of respect for him. He went to the Miami Dolphins, and we all know about how he's in the news and stuff like that. He was voted captain on the team, so uh, man, he have an okay career. Do you believe Sheldon Rankins will play Week 1? No, I don't. No, I think that it's still a long journey for him to get back on the field. I think you might see Sheldon Rankins in the middle of the season, maybe like a week 7 or week 8 or something like that. Even though he returned to practice, he still has a long way to go. That's a Achilles tear, so that's something that takes some time to heal. Who would you rather have, AJ Derby or Dan Arnold? I will go with Dan Arnold, and I think Sean Payton would go with Dan Arnold. Dan Arnold got way too many opportunities to me. Like that first game that he played against the Minnesota Vikings, I know they had a lot of coaches out there probably would have looked at that game and said, "Man, get this man out of here." But it seems like Sean Payton was really high on this guy because he just give him opportunity after opportunity. AJ Derby, I think he had a good game against the Jets. Probably one of his best games that he had out of the four. So, but I'll go with Dan Arnold because Dan Arnold was in the offense last season. And despite the fact that he missed that catch in the NFC Championship game, I think he has room to grow. Let me see. Williams is solid at the safety spot. He's solid, but I just feel like he can play a lot better. I think he has really good hands for a safety. I watched this guy at Utah, man. I mean, he was like all over the field, and he was a ball hawk, man. That's one of the reasons why the Saints got him. They got him because he can actually, catch interceptions and stuff like that. He's doing absolutely nothing as far as what the Saints got him in the building for. They got him here to generate turnovers, and he has not done that. So he's a good tackler. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's a smart guy. I mean, graduated with a 4.0 grade point average. He's an intelligent guy. So I mean that goes without saying. But I just feel like ever since that NFC divisional round game, that Minnesota Miracle, I think it kind of just messed with his confidence. And even though he made like all those videos and working out and stuff like that, talking about road to redemption, I still feel like it's in the back of his head. And I feel like it shows in his play. Are you sold on Davenport? Yes, I am. I feel like the jury is still out with Davenport. I think that we need to understand where this guy came from. I think we also need to get this guy time to develop as a defensive player. Everybody's not going to come into the league looking like Reggie White, Lawrence Taylor, Jared Allen, J.J. White. Okay, it takes time. I mean, Cam Jordan, it took some time with him. I mean, Will Smith back in the day, it took some time with him. So let's just kind of cool our jets, by criticizing guys saying he's a bust. I mean, he's going to his second season, and he has had some good games, last season that were put on tape. So I think that the jury is still out for him. So I'm willing to give him a chance, man. But if we're talking to this same type of conversation year 4, year 5 of his career, then probably be a whole different story. That around that time. Do we have a serviceable cornerback that can replace Ken Crawley and PJ Williams? Ken Crawley, yes. PJ Williams, no. PJ Williams is more of a slot corner. I think he's going to come in the game playing a slot, which is a good spot for him because he's a he's a big guy. He's a big corner, man. I think he's maybe like 210, 212 pounds. That's pretty big for a cornerback. So he can, kind of bully those smaller wide receivers inside of the slot. And he does a good job there. So as long as he playing in the slot. Now, if he playing on the outside, like he gonna make any wide receiver be the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. So I don't want to see him on the outside. But if he playing on the inside, okay. I feel like the Saints, like Sean Payton always says, he says, I want to make sure I get the right 53. He says, and if they're not in the building, let's go out and try to find them. Okay. Sean Payton is not like one of those coaches that look and be like, okay, who we got in the building? Okay, let's get him, and him. If he feel like he's asking guys to do something and they're not doing what he's asking them to do, he'll go out and find another guy to do it. Sean Payton is not afraid to do that. So if PJ Williams is not the guy and Ken Crawley isn't the guy either, I feel like Sean Payton will go out, probably look at some game film on some of these other players that are probably on the bubble and probably bring them into the organization. And maybe they'll be one of those guys that'll play much better than a Williams or a Crawley. Let's see. I'm feeling great about this season. This high-powered offense with this defense can generate turnovers, make stops, and pressure the quarterback. This season will be so very special. At least I hope so. Yeah, me too, Wyatt. I think this is going to be a good season. You had to like what you saw last week out of that dress rehearsal, that first drive by the offense and the first drive by the defense. Lattimore generating a turnover. That's what you expect out of your best secondary player. That's what you expect out of your offense being high powered. I think that the New Orleans Saints can have a magical season. Of course, every season is different. Hopefully, we won't have any like significant injuries or anything like that that can be harmful and detrimental to the success of the team. But I'm really confident in what I see out of the New Orleans Saints this season. I think they're going to be a really good football team. I think when it's all said and done, even though they're playing a first place schedule and going up against division champions, I feel like the New Orleans Saints still have what it takes to be one of the best teams in the league. And if they make it to the playoffs, then they'll be battle tested because this is a very tough schedule. I mean, you think about the first 4 games of the season. I mean, they start the season off against the Houston Texans, and then they play against the Rams, and then they play against the Seahawks. And those are 2 away games, the Rams and the Seahawks. I mean, the Saints are not even coming home when they play against the Rams. They're going to stay on the West Coast. And then you have a home game against the Dallas Cowboys. So a lot of games, that the Saints have are going to be really, really tough. And I think these first 4 games are really going to show us as fans what this team is made of because you can't be out here half stepping. Not this season. I mean, this is going to be tough. And now teams are really trying to prove themselves because the Saints are one of the teams that everybody's picking to be one of those teams to be there in the end. So, they're the measuring stick right now. I mean, they're 2-time division champions. Teams are trying to, size them up, and they're trying to see what they actually have at the expense of the Saints. So, yeah, they got to be ready. Do you believe the Kenny Stills trade rumors? Do I believe the Kenny Stills trade rumors? Look, it's the National Football League. I mean, we all know that these owners only have an allegiance to themselves. They don't care about these players, man. They feel like these players are expendable. So if you're asking me, do I feel like maybe somebody picked up the phone and said that Kenny Stills is tradable? Absolutely. I don't put it past them. And not to mention that some of the things that Kenny Stills believe in, Kenny Stills believe in. I mean, we all know who he's associated with, and we all know what the NFL thinks about the guy that he's associated with. So I just leave it at that. Top positions, Saints should prioritize getting better at. Linebacker. I mean, even though linebacker position is much better, and of course in the secondary. I mean, there's always room for improvement in the secondary. I feel like they need more depth. Let's see. Rankins plays game 4. If he was going to be out till game 7 or 8, they would have put him on the pup list. Yeah, I mean that's a good point. I mean I agree with that, but I'm gonna be honest with you. You can try to rush Sheldon Rankins back on the field, and then that can be a problem where you bring him in too early and he end up re-injuring himself, or you can wait to week 7 or week 8. I think that they don't put him on a list because like there's a possibility to do that. But I by no means think that the Saints need to try to rush this man back on the field. I just don't. That Achilles injury that he had, that injury can continue to linger, and you can continue to deal with that throughout your entire career. I want to help this Sheldon Rankins. This is one of the guys I feel like is going to be one of those players that are going to be on in the organization for a long time. And I want to see this man as healthy as possible. So I think the Saints did a good job going out here, getting some depth at the defensive tackle position after losing Tyler Davidson. I mean, you still have David Anyamata. I mean, he's going to come back in week 2. He has to serve a 1-game suspension. You have Malcolm Brown, who is a 2-time Super Bowl champion, guy who is a decent defensive tackle. And you also have Mario Edwards, a guy who's versatile, can play on the end and also at the defensive tackle position. So I think they have enough depth just to get them by. I mean, Sheldon Rankins is special, but I just want him to be 100% healthy. I don't want the Saints to be rushing him back on the field just because, the timeline is, 4 or 5 weeks. After those weeks, he can come back. No, man, get this guy 100% healthy. And I feel like, looking at some of these players that dealt with this same type of injury, like a Steve Smith Sr., like a Dez Bryant, guys like that. I mean, this is a tough injury, man. Man, we still hear Dez Bryant talking about he's still trying to get right. And to me, I just feel like that's one of the reasons why Steve Smith Sr. Ended up retiring, man. Because it's such a tough injury to come back from, man, dealing with an Achilles injury. So, and not to mention he's a big guy. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight, man. So I just want to make sure that he's just 100% healthy. Maybe he can come back earlier, but I wouldn't risk it. I'll make sure he's 100% healthy. Let's see. Y'all realize this is the last year to do it once Breeze goes is over. Yeah, it's gonna be some tough times, and when Drew Brees retired, it is. Like I think we all have to understand that. Like when you have a when you have a player like Drew Brees, like you have something special. And I know, man. I mean, I've been a Saints fan my whole entire life. I mean, I've seen some hot garbage come through this organization. I mean, dating back as far as Bobby Abel, Jim Everett, the Billy Joes, Billy Joe Hobart, Billy Joe Tolliver, Trash, Heath Schuler. I mean, Danny Warfel. Man, these boys had some hot garbage. Do you hear me? Okay, when Drew Brees came to town, man, it just changed everything. And I know a lot of people may not remember those times because we too busy. Brees and threw 4 touchdowns in the game, but man, they had some tough times, man. Like for real. I remember like down in New Orleans, man. Like when people used to see you with a New Orleans Saints starter jacket on, man, them boys started laughing at you. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, what you doing, man? These boys ain't about to win nothing. But Drew Brees just shedded a whole light on this organization, man. And it's kind of just we in the Who That Nation become a little bit spoiled, man, because we feel that's why we like critique Taysom and Teddy Bridgewater hard now, because Drew Brees is the standard. Drew Brees has set the bar so high. It's like if you're not throwing for 7 touchdowns, we like, man, you suck. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think that it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, but we just have to appreciate the greatness of Drew Brees, man, because whoever come in, they're gonna take them some time to get to a point where we like, okay, this guy makes us miss Drew Brees. Okay, it's gonna take a very special quarterback to replace number 9 when number 9 hangs it up. I mean, it's gonna take a really special guy. Are you still sold on Eli Apple? Um, I don't want to say sold, but I'm okay with him being a starting corner on the team. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. I mean, he gonna get beat. I'm just saying he's gonna get beat. Everybody cannot be a shutdown corner. We need a legit number 2 corner. Who you gonna get? Who can you go out there and get? I mean, I heard last year, that Patrick Peter he wanted to come to New Orleans and stuff, but who are you gonna get? Like, and who are you willing to trade to bring in a corner that can replace Eli Apple? Who you gonna give up for him? Who can you sacrifice to have a cornerback on the other side? Who you gonna bring? Who you gonna trade? That's all I want to know. I'm not trying to be critical of you. Like I said, you're entitled to your opinion, but I'm just saying, like, who would you trade in order to get somebody that will replace Eli Apple? I would like to know. We will finish 12-4. Okay, look, I know I wasn't going to say this. I said I'm superstitious, but people have been asking me this. People have been asking me what is my prediction for the Saints this season. I'm going to tell you, okay? I'm going to tell you all what my prediction is for the New Orleans Saints this season. The New Orleans Saints will go 12-4. Keen Arthur is absolutely right in my opinion. The Saints will go 12-4. I feel like they're going to lose one more game than they lost last season. I think they're going to go 12-4. I think they're going to end up getting home field advantage again, and I think that whoever comes through the Superdome this time, man, God bless them. So did we let Dez Bryant go? We didn't let Dez Bryant go. Dez Bryant only signed a 1-year contract. So after the 1 year, I mean, he became unrestricted free agent. So technically, we didn't let him go. We just didn't re-sign him. uh, let's see. All right. So you think Bobby was garbage? Bobby Abel? Hell yeah. Yes, man, Bobby Abel was trash. I'm sorry. Look, I understand I think he works for WWL, and man, that's my dream to actually work for WWL one day. But I gotta call a spade, man. He was trash. He was trash, man. I mean, when he left and went to the Atlanta Falcons after a contract dispute because the Saints didn't want to pay him, I wasn't upset. I never liked Bobby Abel. I didn't like him as a quarterback. He was too inconsistent. There were years like the New Orleans Saints had one of the best defenses in football, and then all they needed was a quality quarterback that could get them over the hump. And Bobby Abel could not do it. There was no excuse. Like the Saints defense was just absolutely lights out. With Jim Mora as the head coach and the defensive mind that he was, you look at those guys, the Dome Patrol, the Pat Swillens, Ricky Jackson, I mean Sam Mills, Von Johnson. They had a very good defense. And if they had a quarter, like think about this, the 85 Bears had a great defense, one of the best defenses of all time. They had Jim McMahon. Guy wasn't even that good. Like all he did was just manage the game. If Bobby Abel could just manage the game, who knows what the Saints would have been. So to answer your question, no, I'm not a fan of Bobby Abel. I thought he was trash. Aaron Brooks, I'm forever appreciative of the fact that he was the first quarterback to win a playoff game for the Saints. I was actually at that game. Yep, I was actually at that game, man, back in the day when the Saints beat the Rams. in the wild card round. I was at that game. So I'm appreciative of Aaron Brooks. Didn't like how he left, man, and how he ragged on the city, after he left and stuff. He talking about how he was happy to leave and stuff. But I mean, I wasn't really excited about the fact that when he throws a touchdown, he cheering and smiling, and when he throw an interception, he's smiling even harder. I wasn't a fan of that. It just made me want to punch my TV. But I got respect for Aaron Brooks. Was he a good quarterback? No. Was he a decent quarterback? Yes. I'm late getting here, but do you think a Zigbo will be the third? Yeah, I do, Sam. And thank you for checking out the video. I do think he's going to be the third running back because I think he proved that he can be that running back that run between the tackles and catch out of the backfield. I don't know that much about him as a blocker. I'm just going to say because he's a rookie, I'm pretty sure he can get better at that. But I think he did beat out Dwayne Washington for that third running back spot. Jerry said, I read an article saying that Bill Vinovich, along with I know exactly where you're going with this, along with the referees in the NFC Championship game, uh, uh, are suspects of the no call. I also heard that Bill Vinovich was ranked the best referee in the National Football League. I'm going to say that again, Who That Nation. They said Bill Vinovich is the best referee in the National Football League, voted, I guess, by his peers, which makes you even more angry because you're like, okay, if this guy's good as he say he is, then how the hell did he miss that call? That speaks volume, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Like if you're the best, okay, let's just say for example, if you're a lawyer, right? And people's like, man, this guy's a great lawyer. Like he's the best lawyer. You expect for you expect to win your cases, right? People expect for you to win more than you lose cases, right? So I'm like, if he's the best at his profession, how the hell did he miss that call? I mean, to me, if you're the best referee in my lifetime was Ed Hockley. I mean, I know he retired now, but Ed Hockley was the best referee, in my opinion. I mean, when he went under the hood, he always came back with a clear explanation. The games that he refed in were always clean. You know, I mean, they didn't, become the storyline for the most part. So Ed Hockley is the best referee of all time, in my opinion. And then I don't know this referee's name, but I used to enjoy it. Like every time he used to, say first down, be like first down. I used to like him, but that was when I was younger. But but Ed Hockley is the best, man. Bill Vinovich, he can sit his ass down somewhere. Excuse my French. But if you're going to be voted the best by your peers, how the hell do you miss that call? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. But that's all I have, man. And now we're looking forward to week 1 against the Houston Texans. And I'm excited about this. Now we can talk about some real football. We can see some of our favorite Saints players all year long. And I'm going to be right here with you. I'm going to be right here with you every single game. We're going to break it down. When the Saints win, we're going to cheer together. The Saints lose, we're going to cry together. We're going to figure this thing out. And I appreciate each and every one of you that checked out this video. Thank you very much for all those that checked out the videos I've done in the past. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you all very much from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate it. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers, and we're going to make this the best channel possible. And it's already the best channel possible, in my opinion, because you all make it that way. I understand. Like I watch all these other podcasts that cover the New Orleans Saints, and I mean these people, they got some cool stuff going on. Me, y'all see what's in the background. I just got a couple posters, man. Look, I'm not trying to be a $1 million, what I'm saying, like setup type guy. Like I just started this podcast because I love the Saints. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. You know, I'm not trying to make anybody think that I'm bigger than what I am. You know, like I understand people are like, oh man, I want to show people that I'm on. That's not me. Like and I hear people talk to me all the time. They say, you know, oh, you need to do this, or you need to focus on, you know, your diction and this and that. You know, I'm appreciative of, you know, the comments people say, but I'm just a fan. I'm just an everyday guy, you know, that loves the Saints. And I love talking to everyday people about the Saints, people that are fans of the team. And I'm open to any suggestions and the comments that anybody has. That's just me. I mean, I'm sorry, you know, maybe things would be different if I was that type of guy. But to me, I'm just a regular guy, you know, that just love the Saints, and I just love hearing you all, you know, comment, you know, through video and type, you know, emails up, you know, just letting me know what you think about the show and asking me questions. I'm appreciative of that, and I forever will be appreciative of that, and I'll never forget that, you know, because you all make this show what it is. Because to be honest with you, you know, I don't know how the show would be going if I didn't have this type of interaction. So I appreciate every last one of you for, you know, checking out the videos and subscribing to the channel. So that's why I try to take as much time as I can to go down the timeline and answer questions as I can, because you all make this show successful. And I really do appreciate that. So this has been the State of the Saints podcast. Previous episodes are available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio.com. You can also check out the Facebook page, facebook.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. I'm on Instagram as well. You can follow me at TJ Jones underscore, TJAYJONES underscore. I post videos about the Saints and just me being a dad, man, which is the greatest thing in the world. You know, I have a 3-month-old son who I love with all of my heart, man. So I spend a lot of time with him, and just the highlight of my day. So man, y'all probably just see the other side of me. Of course, I talk, you know, focus on the Saints as well, but you know, I'm a father first, so that's my number one priority. But thank you all for checking it out. Once again, subscribe to the channel. We got the contest going on. If we can get 2,000 subscribers by week 1, somebody is going to win a T-shirt. And once again, if you win the T-shirt, this T-shirt right here, if you win this T-shirt, all I'm asking you to do is just take a picture with it, you know, just to say, I won this T-shirt, okay? And that's just to prove that I did it, okay? Because I know, once again, people proof is in the pudding. Like, you ever wonder to yourself, like, how is it, you know, every single year, like back in the day, I don't know if some people remember this, but you remember when McDonald's used to do the Monopoly game? And I always found it weird that you never heard who won the Monopoly game. Like, who had Boardwalk and Park Place and won that $1 million? I don't know. I never seen it. They ain't never broadcasted on TV or nothing like that. They never had a commercial. They said, congratulations, such and such, for winning $1 million. I never seen it. So I just want to prove that, you know, I'm a man of my word. And it's not about just getting subscribers. It's about, you know, having these contests and, you know, and showing people that I really do appreciate them. And we're gonna have like contests, and you know, I'll be doing giveaways and stuff like that throughout the season. Might be asking like trivia questions. You know, the first person that I see on the timeline that give me the right answer, then you know, you're a free T-shirt. So be on the lookout for contests like that, man. It's not, you know, that's kind of, you know, just trying to make things fun. You know, just try to make things fun. And I think we're all Saints fans, and I think we all can, you know, agree that we want the Saints to go all the way, right? We want the Saints to go all the way, and we want the Falcons to be 3-13. Ain't that right? Ah, man. And also, on Wednesdays now, I do a podcast alongside my good friends Mike Ricks and DJ, and it's called NFC South versus the NFL. Now, this show right here, I am the representative of the Who Dat Nation. Mike Ricks is a Carolina Panthers fan, and DJ is a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. And we talk about the NFC South. And, we talk about each other's team. We're very, I don't want to say we're very critical, but we're very honest about how we feel about each other's team. We don't have an Atlanta Falcon fan, which I have no problem with because we all know Atlanta Falcons don't have real fans. But it is a fun show to do, man. So y'all check it out, man. It's called the NFC South versus the NFL. So y'all can subscribe to that channel also and check it out, man. We did a prediction show. We actually did 4 prediction shows. We got one up right now that focus on the Atlanta Falcons record. We talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Carolina Panthers, and the Saints. We predicted all 4 teams' regular season records on the last episode. So I know you all are going to enjoy that. And I enjoy doing it, man. It's cool, man, to, be able to do a show with guys who, you know, have teams within a division. There's a level of competition there, but it's respect there as well, man. So I think y'all enjoyed it. James said, I'd rather the Falcons go 0-16. Yeah, me too, man. Yeah, me too. I would too. I would be honest with you. The Atlanta Falcons are the most fair weather, their fans are the most fair weather fans I ever seen. They only show up like when the Falcons are really doing well. Like you don't never see them defending the Falcons when the Falcons are down. And that's the reason why I don't have no respect for the Atlanta Falcon fan base. I mean, honestly, when you think about the whole city of Atlanta, it's just a bunch of people that come from all across the country. That's what it is. They just come from all across the country and move to Atlanta. Like, so you don't really have a real true fan base. Like people from New Orleans and people who are fans of the Saints, they have an emotional investment with the team. With the Atlanta Falcons, I feel like they're probably the most casual fans I ever seen. Like, I just feel like because they in the playoffs that they got a chance to go to the Super Bowl, that's when everybody want to show up. That's when you see the Lil Bow Wows and the Ludacris and Jermaine Dupri's and the T.I.s. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like them boys just casual, man. I just feel like they just have a whole bunch of casual fans. I don't feel like they fans real. I don't feel like they bleed red and black like they be saying. I just feel like they just fans with limits. You know what I'm saying? As long as the team winning, I'm cool. If they losing, they ain't nowhere to be found. And I have no respect for Atlanta Falcons fan base because they not true fans. Straight up. But they quick when the Saints lose, they quick to try to laugh at our misfortunes. But I'm like, win something before you do that. Win a Super Bowl. Like don't give up a 25-point lead. You know what I'm saying? Like show somebody that you're actually worth talking about. The only reason why the national media actually talk about the Falcons is when they play in the Saints. And to be honest with you, the majority of the Atlanta Falcons games on national television is because they play in the Saints. Like, think about this, man. Who you think they want to see more? Do you think the national media want to see Matt Ryan or do they want to see Drew Brees? Come on. I mean, let's just be honest about this. Let's just be honest. Like, I'm not even trying to just throw straight up shade at them. I mean, I'm just being realistic. Like, nobody checking for the Atlanta Falcons. Nobody. If you look at the national media, the only thing they talk about is how Matt Ryan's stealing money. That's the only thing they really talk about because they're not even worth talking about. They're an embarrassment. They're an embarrassment. Like people can talk about the misfortune of the Saints. Yeah, that's misfortune. You know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate that Minnesota Miracle happened, and what happened last season was just a straight up robbery. But you cannot call a robbery when you had a 25-point lead in the Super Bowl. I'm sorry, and I mean the game was almost over. You could have just ran the ball a couple of times, but you want to go out here and be cute, and you end up losing the game and embarrassing yourself in the process. So as far as I'm concerned, Atlanta Falcon fans can't tell me nothing. The biggest embarrassment in NFL history to me. Like I guarantee you, people are going to be talking about that 25-point lead that they gave up for years to come. Like people talk about the Minnesota Miracle, yeah, it's cool, but for you to lose in a Super Bowl like that, that's gonna always be remembered. Think about this, man. You remember, like, there's always that moment where you see Joe Namath putting his finger in the air and running through that tunnel. You know what I'm saying? When he guaranteed that the Jets were going to win the Super Bowl. You think about that pass from Eli Manning to Plaxico Burress, you know, in the back of the end zone. You know what I'm saying? To take the lead against the undefeated New England Patriots. You think about the helmet catch with David Tyree, right? And now you're gonna always remember that the Atlanta Falcons gave up a 25-point lead in the Super Bowl. Facts. But I'm sorry I had to get that rant in, but thank you all very much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. And until next time, all I gotta say is who that. Good night, everybody.